Today is my birthday. I've turned 27 years old, and a lot has happened to me over the past 4 years of my life. And I want to come on here to give you my perspective, not to say that I came from a terrible place or I got super lucky, but to really hopefully inspire somebody that's watching this to show that you can change your life. 4 years ago, I was at the lowest point in my life where I was scared to be around myself. I didn't have hope for the future, and I thought terrible things that I didn't want to live anymore. And to go from that to being where I'm at, where I absolutely love myself and I am living out my dream life every single day and constantly upgrading my personality and who I want to be. I hope this is inspiring to somebody out there that they are able to go out and do the same thing for themselves. So I'm going to give you a little context of where I was 4 years ago when I was 22 years old. I was really at the lowest point because I was in a 2-year relationship at that point, and it started falling apart. And I was going through a lot of insecurities and just had zero love for myself, had zero hope for the future, that I didn't want kids because this world was getting so fucked up at that time and everything was just not seeming to work. And I was just at the lowest point where I was scared to drive by myself because I would have these intrusive thoughts of, all right, what if I just skirted and what would happen? And I would have these intrusive thoughts constantly. And it was at that time that I really thought that there was no getting out of it. But that relationship ending, it was the easiest and hardest breakup of my life because that relationship taught me what love was, where you just want them to be happy. And it was the easiest breakup to let her go because I knew just I wasn't the right fit for her anymore. But it was the hardest thing because I was just so heartbroken because I had learned how to love. Before that, growing up, I just didn't really know what love felt like. But being able to come out of that relationship, I made a decision for myself where either I was gonna sit there and wallow in the sadness, or I go and find a new hobby and change my life. So I started kickboxing at that time, which got me to get all my anger out on a bag. Not only that, I landed at a gym that built community for me. I was able to go in every morning at 7:30, go work out for a few hours and just build a community with the people around me. And that really opened my eyes to the possibilities of this new life. The first time being single in a few years where I could do anything on my own. And I started working out and I got really consistent. And 6 months into it, I was still mentally drained, where I still mentally didn't feel good, but physically I was starting to see a lot of results in my body of actually consistently working out. And I wanted to take the next step. And this is my rebirth period where I started reading books. I started reading this Beginner's Guide to a Zen Mind. That was the first book I read probably since high school. And this was New Year's time of 2023. That was my New Year's resolution. I started reading every day. And that book taught me truly how to start being present with what you are doing and starting to let go of the negativity and the things that are dragging you down and the things that you just let stack on top of each other until you get to the boiling point and you don't want to do anything about it. That book gave me insight on how to let that go. And throughout the few months of reading that, it put things in perspective of what I was doing in my life and where I was at constantly, of going to the bar every weekend and doing dumb things and hanging out with not the greatest people. Those were the times that I was starting to contemplate that this is not who I want to be. This is not who I want to reflect, because I know I'm talented in my musicianship and I have a lot of passion and I know I have drive for more. This is where truly things changed for me when I was just a few months away from turning 24 3 years ago and coming up with this plan to change who I was. This book shifted everything for me. because leading up to the month of me being 24, I started making an actual plan of execution of what I wanted to do for my future, because my parents were kind of asking what I wanted to do, and it seemed like people were doubting me, and I was coming up on 24. And for those of you who don't know, my birthday is June 24th, and 24 has always been my lucky number. When I was a kid, I always wondered where I was going to be at 24. So now that I was at that point, I made a choice of I wanted to make 24 great. As I was making this plan, I even asked a better question to myself, because right after 24, 25, that's a big milestone as well. And the best question I ever asked myself was, where do I want to be at 25? The first time I ever skipped ahead and actually thought of an outcome of where I want to be at this point. I'm right here. Where do I want to be at this point? That was the best question I ever asked for myself, because I made a goal. It was the first time I ever made a goal of 1 year from now, I want to be here. And the goals that I came up with was I wanted to make $2,000 a month for music and quit my retail job. It's two simple goals. And I kind of worked backwards at where, how do I make $2,000 a month? And I was able to find ways to teach and gig more and do more recording sessions and start getting consistent with social media. That year shifted everything for me. The second I turned 24, that was the clock starting, where I was dedicated to hit my goal at 25. And I worked every single day of reading new books, learning new skills, networking with more people, raising my standards to really go on to the next level of life. And this is where the year of I really started kind of developing this new identity and changing who I was. I started adopting a lot of these mental health mindsets of being 1% better every day and following your passion and truly living up to raising your standards to do the things that you want to do. Everybody has dreams. The second you start acting on them by little steps every day, that's where the magic happens. And 1 year in, on my birthday, I was able to hit that $2,000 a month for the first time ever, just from music. I had played enough gigs that month. I had taught enough students. I had done enough recording sessions. It was the month that started letting me know that it's real, that truly I can do that. And the whole year of being 25, I just kept upgrading. I kept going to the next steps. When I was 24, I had made steps of where I want to be until I'm 50 years old. And it's the steps that you take every day and the mental mindset that you have for these goals. Start living out your dreams, and it's truly inspiring when you can see other people do it, but when you do it for yourself, it lets you know that anything's possible and you actually put in the work. It takes some sacrifice, but from literally just going from the last few years of being 22 and hating life and not wanting to be around, to think of who I was then, to guess 4 years later I would be at this point is honestly crazy. And I want to let you know that anybody can change perspectives. It just takes a while, takes a few years of relentless hard work, but I'm truly living out my dream now. The dream of when I turned 20 years old of being a professional musician and having my own schedule and getting to play gigs and having songs out and making money from social media, like that is active reality, because I had set the intention and worked every single day towards those goals. And now I sit here about to turn 27 and embark on this journey where this is the year that when I was 24 I manifested that this would be the stepping stone year of where everything seems like hard work and little returns to big returns. It takes a few years of trusting the process, but I'm telling you, set your goals, track them, live every day 1% better towards your goals, and I promise you, you'll see there's no way you can fail unless you let the obstacles that come in your way keep you down. There's always a way to figure it out, and you just got to keep going. So here's to another good year, and I hope everybody gets a little inspired by my journey here, and keep following and subscribing for more. And things are gonna get a lot cooler from here. Go live with passion, 1% better every day, and love yourself truly. Like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys.